Hey there everybody, welcome to another series by Gideon's Tactical. We're going to be releasing a series for the next several weeks of the SE4, SE5, the Laser Strike, the SE6, and the Hungerless. So we got a lot of knives that we're going to be testing out, as well as versus and comparison videos of some other knives that can compete and are in the same ballpark as an SE knife would be. So I really encourage you, subscribe, comment as we go through here, and check out the Gideon's Tactical channel. We're going to have a playlist of all the SE knives that we have reviewed here on the channel, and we're just going to have a lot of fun testing out some really high quality blades that are made here in the USA. So enjoy the next series of the SE knives, and I hope you guys are able to make a wise choice with your purchasing decisions based off of these videos. Hey there everybody, welcome to another episode of Gideon's Tactical. Today we are checking out the SE4. We're going to do a field test today, see how this baby performs. I'm just going to give you a couple basic specs before we jump on into it. You got an overall length of 9 inches. Because it's called the SE4, it has a 4.1 inch actual cutting edge with a 4.5 to the handle blade, and the overall length is 9 inches. So those are a few specs for you. It's made out of 1095 high carbon steel, Rockwell hardness 55 to 57. They do also have an uncoated model in 1095 and a 440C model now in 2013 for a stainless model. So this is just the basic coated 1095 SE4. Let's jump on out there, see how this baby performs. Here's some heavy duty nylon cord with the SE4. You can see here, I don't think you would need a serrated model. This plain edge is wicked sharp, holds an edge for a great amount of time with their heat treatment that they do over there at ESEE. Just a great slicer. You'd be able to cut through, a seat belt very easily, nylon cord, webbing, paracord, all that stuff with ease with the SE4. It just does a great job. This SE4 weighs in at 8 ounces. And you can see I'm definitely getting some light chopping done. This is about a 2-inch little dried out piece of pine here. I'm rocking the pinky lanyard that I like to do so I can really get that action and that leverage that I need to chop. So again, it's light, but you are going to be able to get some chopping done for a little 4-inch knife. Boom, right through there. Easily with your SE4, do some light chopping tasks. All right, so let's take a look at the sheath here on the SE4. All of ESEE knives do a great job with all the sheaths that they come with. Just awesome Kydex sheaths. This one is no different. You got a pancake design, very similar to a lot of the other ones. Great thumb ramp here so you can deploy it very easily. Clicks into place with authority. You got these 2 torsion screws right here that will either close and tighten the Kydex or loosen it. So if you want it to be really quick, easy pull, you can do that, or you can make it a really tight click, just depending on what you're doing. Maybe if you're using it more in a tactical run and gun format versus a wilderness format. Different types of holes for lashing all along, drainage hole as well. They come either with a paddle clip, which isn't bad. They have a new one that's steel. It's not the old plastic one. That one's a pretty good clip. Or MOLLE locks, and those MOLLE locks I've found do not really work unless you are putting them through MOLLE. You can't wear them on a belt. They don't work very well. But this is compatible with a BLADEHQ lock. Those run about 13 bucks. Easily puts on your belt or MOLLE as well, those BLADEHQ locks, and you can easily wear it horizontal, vertical. You could even wear it kind of as a neck knife because it is a pretty thin blade. All the different ways that you could do it. It's very unobtrusive in its profile, which is a plus, particularly if you're, you're carrying tons of ammo, and gear and grenades and not a mic, but a radio. You got a bunch of stuff with you, and then you still need a, self-defense utility blade. The SE4 would be great at that. This SE4, I would say, is probably a more realistic tactical knife in their line than almost any other. Just because that 4 inches, it's small enough, it's light enough at 8 ounces that you could wield it really quickly. You can get in there for both utility and different things like that. Tactically, this one is not the clip point. They do have a clip point design that has a sharpened swedge of about 1.5 inches up here, which would be great for a self-defense, military, fighting knife. And the lockup on the handle is superb. You're really locked into place there, really nice. You're not going to accidentally ride down and hurt yourself if you're doing this kind of reverse grip stab. which is really nice. Really good thick tip on this, not, you know, on just the drop point model. Very thick. You could definitely do some prying and not worry about it. It's definitely thicker than, say, the SE3. The thing to note, though, is that the handle is the exact same size as the SE3. So if you have an SE3 and or you've held one, you're like, man, that handle's a little small, I hope the SE4 is bigger. It is not. It is the exact same handle as the SE3. The only difference is that you're getting a 3/16 inch thick spine and you're getting a 4-inch cutting surface. That's the only difference with the SE3 and the SE4 in its handle construction is exactly the same. But great for tactical, and I would say probably more realistic in today's world for self-defense use, both militarily, law enforcement, and other things like that. That's really what I think the SE4 excels at, is more of a utility self-defense tool. So the SE4 has a full flat grind. You can see here it does an amazing job at slicing, even though it is 3/16 of an inch thick, which is pretty thick for a little 4-inch blade. You can definitely do your wood shavings, carving, whittling, all that type of stuff. Look at that. Oh, man. Get that tinder going for a fire with those wood shavings. Super thin, really nice. Got a good set of jimping along here. Not too aggressive where it's hurtful to your hand, but not non-existent, which is just perfect. That great finger choil, so you can really choke up. That's how it fits in my large size. I wear large size gloves. And then if you're just using the back handle, again, obviously, just like that, you don't even need the finger choil. That 1095, they have a great heat treatment that they've done to this 1095. That's just awesome. The thing I will note is that for this size of 4 inches, if you are using this more as a wilderness bush knife, honestly, there are way better knives on the market. I know a bunch of SE fans are going to flip out right now, but for the type of tasks that you see me doing, if you're not using this more in a military format, because of the weight and all the other things I listed, I would recommend either just going with an SE3 because it's an 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's a lot thinner. With this one being 3/16, which makes it really good, you know, for like prying and different things like that. But you're not going to go batoning. I'm not even going to baton with this knife just because of how small the wood it's going to span. There's really no need for it. Sure, you could, if this is all you're rocking and you needed to, you could span like a 3-inch piece of wood and baton through it. But there are other knives on the market that are 1/8 of an inch thick that I would recommend over this ESEE because, you know, a lot of people are like, man, I want it as thick as possible, as heavy as possible. But particularly if you're rocking this with another knife, it's just not needed, and particularly at 4 inches, again, like I said. So the thickness, I think, kind of holds it back a little bit from this wood craft, bush craft, if you will, survival type of stuff for the most part, because you should be having a bigger knife if you are literally going out in the woods and going to try and survive, you know, overnight. You should be rocking the SE5 or SE6, something like that. And then have your SE3, and then I'll throw the knife around, your SE3 to really get that really fine, delicate shaving done. And it's just a lot thinner, so it's going to slice better than your SE4 would. Not to say that this sucker isn't going to shave like you have seen it been doing, but the SE3 would just do better, or an 1/8 inch knife like the Tops Light Trekker will just cut a little bit easier than, say, this SE4. No hot spots in this knife throughout the day, regardless if I'm doing this reverse grip, stabbing, chopping, carving, and whittling. Great overall design of this knife. Again, I think if it was even 5/32 or an 1/8 of an inch thick, it would just be a little bit better. For the wood processing, tactically, and kind of utility, the 3/16 is awesome. But more for this bush type of stuff, I would have preferred to see it a little thinner. Thinner the knife, the easier it is to carve and whittle and cut, and that's what you're mostly going to be doing with this knife. You're not going to be doing, you know, batoning and chopping and clearing a forest with an SE4. That's what your SE6, your SE5, and your jungleless are for.
All right, so I want to show you a quick side-by-side of the Tops Light Trekker and the SE4 so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. This SE4 is 8 ounces. This Light Trekker is 5 ounces. So there's a 3-ounce difference there, which definitely, you know, in that category is a lot of weight. You can still get good chopping on the lighter knife, the Light Trekker, both made out of 1095. They're both at the same price point of right around $105. So the price point is exactly the same. Micarta handle sales are exactly the same. Same thickness on the handles, the same length of the blades. The only difference that you're going to get really is that lightweight, 3 ounces lighter. Both come with good, great Kydex sheaths. And then the Tops Light Trekker is an 1/8 of an inch thick with that blank ferrule rod thrower, so you can throw sparks with your ferrule rod. But it's an 1/8 of an inch thick, so that's going to slice and prepare your wood and your food and just cut through things easier. It's just the way it is. It's just physics in that that's only an 1/8 of an inch thick. And then your spine on your ESEE, you can see there's much more massive, a lot thicker at 3/16. The Tops Light Trekker, I would say, is a much better wilderness blade than, say, your SE4, but I would say that that SE4 is definitely got a little bit up on the tactical end of it. But the Light Trekker as well is going to have an overall longer handle. For those of you who don't really care for the SE3 and SE4 handles because they maybe are a little small in your very large hands, the Light Trekker has an overall longer handle and will fit your hand a lot better. So I just want to kind of show that to you as we go through this. And the Light Trekker is just a better in that kind of category knife for me because it's thinner and lighter than the SE4.
All right, everybody, in conclusion, with the SE4, I kind of have a love-hate with this thing. Like I have said throughout this video, and I'm going to stand by this, is that this is a little bit too thick for its size, in my opinion, for wilderness use. Utility military tasks, it's awesome. It's going to be a little pry bar basically for you, particularly if you get that clip point design with that sharpened swedge up top. I mean, that'll be a deadly little weapon for you to absolutely, you know, pop open crates, cut rope, your Humvee flips over, you know, all that type of stuff. It's going to do a great job for you. But for the Bushman, I just think that it's, for the weight of 8 ounces and the thickness, it just isn't there for me. I'd much rather either be rocking an SE3 for the type of task that this baby would be, I would be putting it through. And again, this is my perspective of how I use knives. You may use knives totally different and you love the SE4. This is my least favorite SE, I think, out of all of their full-size blades. From the SE, from the Zula on up, this is probably my least favorite just because of the weight to blade thickness and all those other things. I just don't see the need for it. Sure, it's great, it's extra, a lot of you guys are gonna love it. For me and my uses, I just don't see the need for it. So, great quality knife and great for, I would say, military and law enforcement, but for the average Bushman, get an SE3 and an SE6 and you're set and good to go. You don't need to worry about an SE4, in my humble opinion. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.